Hi, I'm Louis Beloyan with Eliminate the Wait. We specialize in providing practices with the tools they need to improve the patient experience. In this introductory module, you'll learn about one of the main drivers of long wait times and how to identify the root cause so you can fix them. Just as you would never give a treatment to a patient without knowing the underlying illness, we will not give you solutions without thoroughly diagnosing the problem first. This program is based off of decades of best quality practices used in all walks of life. So, before we get started, let's look at a waiting experience many of you have had. You've probably been in this situation before, right? Maybe everyone's working as fast as they can, but there's just not enough checkpoint lanes open to serve all of the people. This same phenomenon, where there are more people trying to get through somewhere than what's available, can be found at grocery stores where there's long lines, on freeways through construction zones, and at the DMV. In quality and lean speak, this is called a bottleneck, and is a place where flow is restricted. For the airport screening, you could have a ton of capacity before the checkpoint. You could have as many gate agents as you'd want. Or after the checkpoint, the fastest way to get on an airplane. But if you don't address that bottleneck at the TSA checkpoint, the flow will not improve. You won't create a great experience. Everyone's still going to wait and pile up. Therefore, you must fix that first. This concept translates to medical practices, though is often far more subtle. You don't have everyone line up as you do in the airport, so the bottleneck is less visible, but it's still there. Often it can be seen where people are waiting. This could be in the waiting room, consult rooms, or even the front desk. So with that, let's get started. As I mentioned, bottleneck is a constriction in flow, and in a medical practice, we would categorize them into these three categories. The first is the bottleneck can be a person. It's often the physician who is the limiting resources, but it can be others. It's where a lot of people are waiting for the doctor in different waiting rooms that can cause a pileup. The second is equipment, where in some practices the flow is slowing because of a piece of testing equipment that can only handle so many people, so other people wait. Finally, a process can be a bottleneck, where such as the check-in, check-out at the front desk, that can cause a lot of waiting. I would guess to say that you and your staff already know where these occur. While every day is different, try to think of where patients may be getting held up the most. As we go through this module, select one area that has been known to grind the patient flow to a halt. Now let's go through the tool that we have provided. The tool actually has underpinnings in Formula One racing. In 1960, a pit stop where the car gets fuel, new tires, etc. took 60 seconds. In 2020, it takes under 2 seconds, which is a 30 times improvement. This didn't just happen because of technology or other things, but it required a deep understanding of each element of the pit stop. And we found that items were broken down and prepared ahead of time and the process was dissected to remove anything unnecessary and streamline the things that were necessary. In your practice, you're not going to be expected to hold 2-second patients' visits, but I promise you that this tool will help illuminate where your bottlenecks are and how to fix them so you have more control over your day. So, the tool that we're using, Dr. Smith here, has 10 hours available at work. She knows that she is the bottleneck at her practice and is causing patients to wait. So she will record her day over a 10-hour period. She breaks her time into 3 categories on the tool. The first is required. This is green. This is time that is the most value added to her, and the examples would be speaking with a patient about and diagnosing their condition, performing surgery, or anything else that she adds significant value and does not want to change or speed up. The other end of the spectrum is items that are not required. This is time that could be valuable, but push come to shove does not need to be done by Dr. Smith. Examples are filling out paperwork, answering emails during office hours, taking down patient information, or maybe going to get equipment that should have been in the room to begin with. Tasks that are redundant or cause mistakes fit into this category. In the middle of that spectrum between green and red is neutral. These are activities that probably should be done by Dr. Smith, but could be improved or streamlined. One example is that Dr. Smith could be answering FAQs, frequently asked questions, and spends a lot of time doing that. She may be able to streamline that by giving patients a information sheet ahead of time. So Dr. Smith uses our tool to record her day and sees where she can improve. Now that she has the data, she sees that a significant portion of her time is spent in those red or yellow areas. So her first thing that she does is she reallocates all of the not required tasks to others or moves them offline. Her assistant will take all patient information. She will wait to prep charts until after work hours. And she creates a system that prevents her from going to the wrong consult room, which has happened a few times a week, but sucks up about 5 minutes each time. She also ensures that each of the consult rooms is stocked with necessary supplies so that she doesn't have to go looking for them. Immediately, she can see that she will free up about an hour a day by getting rid of these items. She then looks at reducing the yellow items. These are those neutral items. And at this point, she provides FAQ pamphlets proactively answering patients' questions. She also asks for patients to be placed in rooms closer together so that she has a shorter walk time during her day. By streamlining these yellow items, she has freed up even more time. Finally, Dr. Smith notices that she has done such a great job that she can now add 2 more patients into the practice every day without sacrificing the visit quality. As we know, there will be some days where everything goes wrong. But at least for Dr. Smith, she's chipped away enough things that she can reduce the number of those crazy days from maybe 50 down to 5 or 10. This process also works for equipment, not just a physician, where you'll record time for that equipment bottleneck and see, hey, a red time could be the machine shuts down and we have to restart. There's an error. The yellow items could be time to fill in information on the screen or set up the patient on the equipment. So it's important taking this information in hand to be able to record it so that we can find those opportunities for improvement. So for you to get started, we've provided you a tool to identify how your day is spent at that bottleneck. First, you're going to find that bottleneck and identify it, and it doesn't have to be perfect, just choose one. Second, you're going to record a day at that bottleneck, ideally in small increments. Categorize each task at the end of the day into green, yellow, and red. The tool will output a pie chart showing you your day, and more often than not, you'd be surprised how many of your tasks you don't need to do and can improve. Then you're going to select a few improvements. Don't try to fix everything, but select a few. And then improve and repeat until you notice that you're no longer, that station is no longer the bottleneck. Then you can go to the next bottleneck or keep going. With a bit of time and passion, you too can identify and bust down bottlenecks. It's a bumpy road. It's not perfect, but I assure you that by having this lens, you will start seeing things differently and over time improve the system. Busting bottlenecks is just one aspect of 4 parts of improvement in your practice to improve the patient experience. In our coaching series, we take you deeper into improving bottlenecks, as we've discussed here, along with 3 other areas. The first is around identifying and reducing defects to create consistency. You'd be surprised to know that even the best professional sports team make hundreds of defects and have significant variation that affects performance. The same is true in your practice, so by understanding where there are inconsistencies or variation, we'll be able to make things more reliable and constant. The second module is designing your patient experience, where we will look at the visit of a patient in much the same way as a football coach looks at running plays or a Broadway director would look at the choreography of that play. And finally, we'll look at building your organization's prioritization and execution muscle. It's one thing to have many good ideas, but to execute them can be far more difficult. In this portion, we'll share methods that will make the management of your business priorities more effective. So if you're interested in this program, please go to eliminateweight.com to find a service that fits your needs. I want to thank you for watching and for your interest in improving your patient experience, and wish you the best of luck as you move forward. Have a great day.